Just wanted to show off a Dumeril's Boa real quick. This dude is doing great. He's really been growing lately. Really had a difficult time with this guy. When I first got him, he did not want to eat regularly. I bought him as a baby, and if you buy a snake that has had a few meals and they say he's good to go, that's good. I mean, it's better than no meals, but still, there's a lot of times when you get a very young snake and you have a little difficult time just kind of getting him established. A lot of times, certain species can be picky. From my experience, Dumerils can be picky when they're very young and just getting initially established. Um, but once this dude started eating good for me, he wants to eat now. He just wants to slam food and have no issues with him now. So that's great, and I'm really happy because first of all, I want him to be healthy. I want him to grow, not be stunted in his growth, or even worse, die from just malnutrition and malnourishment. And that was a concern initially because there was an extended period of time where he didn't want to eat regularly, and I'd get him to eat, and I thought he was good, and then he wasn't. But now he's really eating regularly. I've had him over a year, and he's not huge, but you can see he's not tiny. Um, so he's not 2 years old, but he is over a year old, and really starting to grow. Um, Another beautiful thing is he's eating, not just is he eating, but he's eating frozen thawed for me. And knock on wood, I'm transitioning him now to frozen thawed rats because I just like to get them off of mice if I can. I just don't like dealing with mice. Mice stink, and I guess that's why they love them. But a lot of times, you get a snake on mice, they don't want to get off of it. A Dumeril's Boa will eventually get to the point where they need something bigger than mice. And if you can transition them sooner than later, I've found that that's the thing to do. I had a Burmese python before that would not transition off of mice. Kind of drove me crazy, and I was trying to figure out why they would have gave them mice in the first place, because a baby Burmese python can handle pinkies or small fuzzy rats. Um, but anyways, they had them on mice, and she would not get off of mice. Actually, if you've seen my last feeding video and the video talking about euthanizing rabbits humanely, that Burmese python would not eat anything but mice for a long time. So she was so big over time. I mean, when I first got her, she wasn't, and the mice were fine. But eventually it got to where the mouse was about the size of, if not smaller than, her head. And I'd give her numerous mice to try to compensate for being such a smaller prey item. But with consistency, I did get her transitioned over to rats. And as you can see now, she eats rabbits, and that actually was pretty easy. I don't know if they just like rabbits more, but I think as they get older and more confident and just more stable as eaters, they're more open to other foods. I normally feed rats or rabbits at that size. I don't have good source for piglets, or I do get some extra large quail, or they're still not quite big enough for what she needs. I could try chickens. I've heard that makes some messy poop, and I haven't tried it. But anyways, just talking about feeding, getting animals established, and how it can be a little bit more difficult depending on the breed, depending on their age, And of course, number one, you want to have your enclosure set up. You want the right conditions for this animal to feel at home. If you've got your temperature out of whack, your humidity out of whack, and they're not eating, that's number one. Resolve that. Make sure they have hides. They should feel comfortable. If they feel scared for their life, they have nowhere to hide. Snakes like to camouflage themselves and hide and feel secure. They're predators, and they like to sneak up on the animal. So they just feel more secure when they have hides. So that's a biggie too, is making sure your enclosure's right. Um, and then there's different techniques. So don't be fixated on just one type of prey item. For this animal, he wanted mice and he wanted live mice, but at first he wouldn't even eat live mice regularly. So first, I got him to eat a live mouse, and then eventually I transitioned him once he was established, first of all, to eating the live mice consistently. Then I transitioned him to the frozen thawed mice, and then ultimately I'm now working on he's eating frozen thawed rats, which is awesome. That's what I want him to do because Dumeril's bowl will be good with rats pretty much the rest of their life. My male anaconda would not eat for me, and I was really concerned about it. He wouldn't eat mice, rats. One time I got him to take one, and I was like, cool, but then he wouldn't ever do it again. So I was like, you know what? Let me try quail. And man, he loves quail. So I buy my feeders off of Rodent Pro, and I don't work for them. I'm not advertising for them, but that's just where I buy my frozen feeders from. They've been good to me. But they sell mice, rats, quail, chicken, guinea pigs, and I've tried a lot of these different prey items since ordering through them, and they sell rabbits also. Um, so I bought some quail, and he loved them. So if you're having issues, try a different type of prey. You can try scenting. Some people use some fish to scent, and there's different techniques. Even if I was transitioning from mice to rats, I'll scent the rat with the mouse just to kind of get that started. And then after doing that a little while, um, they typically will transition pretty well. But anyways, I'm just trying to speak on a topic here, and like I said, it relates closely to this guy and both of my Dumerils, as I bought them both as young babies, and it took a little bit of work and patience to get them to transition. At one point, I was like, I don't even know if I want to deal with this. I thought about selling them, but I didn't want to sell them really. Um, I've had the same issues with the baby jungle carpet pythons that I had, not wanting to eat steadily. But if you're patient and you continue to work with them and you find out what works best, maybe it's a different prey item, and you're making sure your enclosure's on point, everything's good, you will get them to eat, and it will still be rewarding. Because in the end of the day, you'll know the struggle you went through, but you'll know that they're doing well, and thanks to your efforts, you can see them grow as he's trying to climb up my mouth as I'm talking. um, so yeah, this is my boy. I've got a female. She just ate yesterday, thank God, and I didn't want to take her out because she's digesting. But I just want to show him off. He's really taken off in his growth. He's not huge for a Dumeril's boa. Obviously, he's got a lot of growing to do. Like I said, he's not 2 years old yet, and he's just really picking up and bulking up a little bit now that he's eating regularly. And I guess in length a little bit. He's not gotten much longer since any of my last updates. I did one on Facebook, not on my YouTube, of him when he turned 1 year old. But I can definitely notice a difference in this boy, and it's just very satisfying to know that he's doing good, he's healthy, he's eating, and he's really interested in my face. I don't know. It's probably my hot breath. No, but anyways, guys, I just want to show off a Dumeril's boa, talk a little bit about some feeding issues, especially with certain species more than others, at, and mainly at certain times, mainly when they're babies, they're just getting established. Um, but it could happen at different times of their life as well, depending on the individual. Typically, once they're established and they're eating well, you're pretty good to go. So, quick video. Want to show them off. Hope this camera quality is okay. This is actually on my laptop, so it's kind of awkward. But anyways, Dumeril's boas are beautiful. They're a medium-sized snake. They don't get huge. They can be a little finicky when they're young, but once you get them established, such a rewarding animal to keep. And they're beautiful. I love their pattern. It's so cool. It's really awesome. I love the contrast at the saddles and just the overall pattern. This is a very normal. There's a few different morphs out there and slightly different colorations, but nothing too crazy in the Dumeril's world. But there are some unique saddle designs and some different coloration, slightly, depending on what you're interested in. I've seen some more orange and red, some darker, some lighter. I really like this because he's got dark and then the light contrast at the saddles, and I just love that contrast. I was very specific when I picked him out because of that, and he's really maintained that contrast, and he's a beautiful animal. Very, very docile. Very defensive in his enclosure, but once he's out, super docile. I don't have any issues with him. So I definitely would recommend Dumeril's boas because they don't get huge. They're easy to maintain. You might have to work with them a little bit when they're young to get them established, but once you do, it is so worth it, in my personal opinion. And I always encourage people, if you're really interested in a species, don't let something shy you away from them because somebody says it's not a beginner snake. Because I've recommended somebody before, like I know a girl that was wanting her first snake, and she really wanted a Brazilian rainbow boa, but she wasn't sure because they weren't considered a beginner snake. And I was like, look, do your research, learn how to care for it, and just do what you know you need to do, and you'll be fine. And she's first time snake owner. She's had that Brazilian rainbow boa for I think over 2 years now. He's grown a ton. She loves him. She's happy. But you want to get an animal that you want. You don't want to get something just because it's classified as a beginner. If you don't want a ball python, don't get a ball python because you're going to get bored with it. You're going to neglect it because it's not really the animal you want. So that's my personal opinion. Everybody's got their own. But I've always stuck to that, and I've found it to be true in personal experience and just through talking to other people as well. Get this animal you're interested in. If you love Dumeril's boas, they are a pretty easy, hardy animal. You can be a little finicky getting established, but other than that, they're great. They don't get huge. Like I said, they're going to be smaller than a traditional like true red-tailed boa or even the BCI boas, common boas. They're not going to get to that size. So Dumerils they can get that size. Actually, they can get very close. It all depends on, of course, how they eat. Some people restrict growth, and some people overfeed, and then some people are in between. So, of course, that will matter how they do. But they are such a cool species. I would definitely say they're manageable, and I love Dumeril's boas. So, what do you guys think of this guy? Honestly, haven't named him, and I am open to name suggestions. So, if you think of any cool names, I don't know, maybe something involving his pattern or something. It almost looks like he's got faces, right, on his side saddles there a little bit. But he's a beautiful snake, super chill. And a rewarding animal to keep. So, just trying to show this boy off and talk a little bit about Dumeril, but hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care. Have a good weekend, guys.